through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future, Transformers Slag Podcast.
What's up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream main event. I'm your host, Proto Man. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice that you hear Monday to Friday. But due to some technical difficulties and crazy weather here in Montreal, there's a snowstorm happening right now. We ran a little 10 minutes late starting tonight, and we had I think we missed one or two segments during the week because we just got so busy. It was nuts with the snow and everything. And I love Montreal. I love Canada, but I don't love winter. Bring on the global warming. I don't know. Anyways, how we all doing? It's a great Saturday night to talk about the robots in disguise. We got a lot of updates we're going to talk about, a lot of new information about stuff that we talked about during the week. We got some nice photos and cool listings and everything. So we're going to jump into all of that. I saw a question just quickly I'm going to address. I believe it was Horned Owl asked how he could change his YouTube member icon. So how that works essentially is when you start as a YouTube member, you get a specific icon, and as the months progress of you being a member, it unlocks other icons. As you unlock those icons, you could go back and change to the ones you want. I believe Mr. Bumblebot and a few others, they like changing back their icons to certain characters and stuff. So there is options with that if you choose. It's somewhere in the options. I'd have to double check that with you. And also Oscar, who recently just joined the YouTube membership, he also wants to know, how do you change your face icon there? That's actually with YouTube. You go into your YouTube profile. It should be in the top right of your phone or top left if you're using it on a desktop, and you could choose a custom logo for it for your side. I mean, hope that answers that question a little bit. But how we all doing? Great to see everybody. We got Oscar, who just joined the YouTube membership. We got Some Kiat. We got James Hoskin. Mikey and Louie are back. Patrick Brown. Who else? We got Cringe McCringle. J.R. Mina from the Philippines. T-Formers 2002. Horned Owl. Who else? Mr. Bumblebot. Rodimus Power. Prince and Phalanx 59. Tucker. A lot of people. Will Murphy. Mike Rosen. A lot of people. It's a good day. It's a good day for some robots. Prince of Phalanx, I got 10 inches of snow so far this week. It's getting crazy here too. Yeah. It supposedly there was like a humidity pressure from Texas that got like pushed up northeast, and then it just hit all like southeast Canada, which is beautiful Montreal here. So we got a lot of snow as a result of it. Supposedly it's going to then rain tomorrow and be like, mind you, I'm saying everything in Celsius, so I apologize, but it's going to be like plus 10. So I was like, oh, great. So we're going to go from cold weather to kind of mild weather and rain. Can't make up their mind. And I want to go out and do some toy shopping tomorrow. So I hope the weather gets good. Hope so. Giggity with those 10 inches. We got some cool stuff in the mail too that I got from Korea. One of my buddies in Korea who always sends me like little gift boxes of stuff. Probably should be careful where I put my address on this, but little gift box of stuff. He always sends me little things, so I got some cool little stuff. I don't know if it'll be interesting to you guys, but I'll probably show it at some point tonight. But let's talk Transformers. We'll take some super chats. We'll do the whole thing like we always do, and make the best of it. I kind of ran late on things, so the system is going to be a little faulty, but we do got our slides up more or less. So let's jump into the first piece of news, and let's talk about that Transformers masterpiece MPG Masterpiece Gatai 07 Trainbot Ginou. So we talked about it early this week, translated everything, tried to make sense of it all, and everything I assumed about him was correct. It is an homage to the most weirdest of weirdest things. And I even posted a little more on Twitter today, on my Twitter account. If you're not following that, it's right there. I don't think I'll ever call it X. I'm so burned into it being called Twitter now. But yeah, essentially, there's even more to this than we think. There's just so much obscure stuff. If you're someone who's into Diaclone, or pre-Transformer history, or you're a train enthusiast. There's just so many layers to this that's enjoyable, that stand alone outside of the whole ride-in combiner thing. We got a brand new slew of images because the pre-orders dropped 2 days ago, technically Japan time. And Gino's looking amazing. Like, it's something where even if you didn't even get on the ride-in game, if you want to just buy one for the sake of buying one, um, it's a damn good mold. I own the Shuki on its own too, and I really like it a lot. A little backpacky, but I mean the final product just looks amazing. And these photos really show just how much more we're getting this time around because like let's even look at the alt mode here. Like we're getting that new chest piece, we're getting that extra, like I guess we'll call it in the lower abdomen area piece, a unique sticker set, which is what I talked about on my tweet, which I'll get into in a moment. Just looking really good. Looking really, really good. Let's get that ride-in shot. So here's like the difference between the traditional masterpiece ride-in centerpiece and this one here with that new chest. And again, like I said, that new chest is the weirdest homage of the weirdest homages. Diaclone art. It's not an actual toy. It's just some Diaclone art. They're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we made that character from the Diaclone art that never had a toy into a toy? And we'll call him Ginou. Sure, why not? That's crazy. Whatever. But I dig it. I think it's really cool. But there's even more that, like, people didn't talk about this, and it's crazy because if you look at this figure, there's a lot of new tooling going on. So the first thing I want to cover is obviously the head sculpt. The robot mode head sculpt is now toy accurate. It matches, like, if you look on the top left there in the middle, that's the original Shuki's toy from 1987 or 1983, if you want to go into the Diaclone times. And this is a new head sculpt that's more toy accurate as opposed to the more animation accurate that the original MPG01 masterpiece Shuki is. Has the nice chest sticker, which also matches the original G1 toy. And you know what's crazy? It's hard to see it here. Maybe I'll try to blow it up. One moment, guys. I'll try to do this. Let's do this live. Let's try to blow this up for you guys. Even the train mode has unique tooling on it. So look, if you look at the top one, Shuki, he has 2 doors on the front. He has a different number of windows and translucent windows. He has a different door on the back. There's some new sculpting that was actually used on this one too. So it's a little bit of, I don't want to say a reshell, but a slight retool or a partial of the original. So there's a lot of new tooling going on here on this little dude. And I really appreciate that because it's something where you're not just buying a repaint. There's new tooling on the face, the chest, and even that sticker sheet that I showed you. If you look at the shoulders of I call it the Dr. Yellow, but it's the Ginou here. You'll see it has little stickers there on the shoulders. Those stickers come with it included as a nod to the second release chrome version of Raiden through Diaclone. The extra layers of fan wank here is intense, but I appreciate it because I'm crazy, Takara's crazy, and me and Takara could be crazy together. And I appreciate that kind of crazy. So let's just go back to the first one here. So the skinny of information we got, the MSRP on this is going to be 23,650 yen, which comes to about a little bit above $160. That could change day to day because the yen goes up and down against the American dollar. But let's average it at like 160, 161 right now as of this recording. But that could change. Pre-orders drop right now. So I'm down for that. I'm really digging it. So I'm going to probably pick this one up just because even as a standalone figure, Shuki's amazing. So I'm going to probably pick this one up. And the pre-orders, while they start right now, the ship out date for these are planned for September 28th, 2024. So still quite a few months away, but I really like what I see. I still kind of want to get a Yuki Kaze turned into the Fembot Dr. Yellow. I'd still really dig that, Takara, if you did that. But at the same time, I really dig everything you guys did here. And, creating new characters. This is a brand new character from an obscure part of Diaclone history, the obscure of the most obscure. I guarantee even Diaclone Japanese fans probably didn't even catch this. So I dig it. I think it's really cool. Let me know what you think. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome. I know that Horndow asked here, where could it be pre-ordered? I know that BBTS, I believe, has, but I'll be honest with you guys. Just wait until like maybe Hasbro Pulse maybe gets a couple of numbers of these. They'll probably get something. Already, all the Raiden pieces have shown up on Hasbro Pulse in limited numbers at a great price. So I'd probably wait to see if Hasbro Pulse has something. If they don't, maybe message BMAC or one of the people who work on it to ask if it's going to be available with marketing, because they'll probably be the best price and you'll probably be able to snag it for even less than 160. So that's just my take. I haven't confirmed it yet. It's been a busy day. I would have loved to, get that info for you guys directly, but it is something I'll look into for sure. If not. But yeah. And where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? I just lost all my space here for all the news. We also have all those listings. My goodness, the listings we have to talk about today. So many listings. Let's just pull all of these up. For Transformers 1, my goodness, so many listings. Where do I even begin? It's a lot of the big takeaway from this is the code names on the right here. So we only know of 6 characters in the movie, but obviously there's going to be more than 6 characters. So it's something where these names like Alphabet, Sergeant, Ace, Admiral, Overlord, Corporal, Rounder, Capital, Halfback, Lieutenant, Commander, they're going to correspond with specific guys. Judging by the fact that Admiral and Ace seem to pop up a lot here, probably indicates that that's probably going to be Optimus and Bumblebee. The others, Overlord kind of shows up here and there. That might be the Megatron or the D16, as Lorenzo de Bonaventura said. Even though sometimes it's hard to take what he says for 100%. But these are pretty hype. These are pretty hype. T-Formers 2000 says Hobby Link Japan has Ginou for 135, but that's before shipping is added. Yeah, HLJ is pretty good, but depending on where you live, I do agree shipping could be a bit of a hit. But when you think about it, I mean, that's still pretty good in my opinion, because probably like, the shipping from some other retailers would probably be, 160 before the shipping. So that is an option. Thank you, T-Formers. Put that on the side for a note, but thank you. But yeah, getting back to getting back to TF1 here, there's just a bunch of listings right now. It just shows that this is going to be a very toyetic line, much like what they did with Rise of the Beast with, you know, beast combiners and flex changers and one steps. The only thing that's to note with the one step, it says cog in it. And that kind of reconfirms what the rumors that we had online about how the transformation cog is going to be the MacGuffin of this movie. And it's going to be this, this big journey of the Transformers to get their transformation cog so they could transform and stuff. That's the rumor that was going on for the early scripts and everything. So we will see, but a lot to take away here just because there's just so much to dive into and so much to make sense of. They have the masks, they got all kinds of stuff, even the bot shots trademark. My goodness, to see that trademark pop up again. Maybe we'll get some bot shots returning in some shape or form. That'd be wild just to get a couple of those. After they discontinued them, we were supposed to get a ROM the Space Knight and so many wacky bot shots, and none of those happened. We're supposed to get a Metro Titan. Imagine. Metroplex and Metro Titan bot shot. So much wackiness. Oh well. Let me know what you think, guys, but this is all we got right now. Obviously, this is one of these cases where, just like what we did with Rise of the Beast, they had those early names, and we're just slowly piecing together everything that's going on and trying to make sense of things. And we will see. We will see what happens, what all these names will mean in the future. Obviously, Soundwave and Starscream and some other key characters are going to be a part of this movie too, in some shape or form. Who they will be, how they will be, we will see. We will see. But on top of the other listings, man, these are just my opinions, but we got 3 collaboration listings here. We got a Tragen collab Project Night, a Tragen collab Project Renaissance, and a Tragen collab Project Tales. Now, these aren't confirmed. These are just my guesses. Night could be the finally long overdue Proto Man constantly saying, "Where is our Knight Rider Transformer? How has this not happened yet?" I think finally now it might be happening. Knight Industries with Michael Knight, hopefully Knight Rider. That'd be really cool. Come with a little David Hasselhoff Human Alliance figure to put in there. That'd be really cool. But either way, I just hope it happens. That's that, with a little LED light in the front. Oh God, that'd be amazing. You can tell I'm a big Knight Rider fan. And then of course the Project Renaissance. I mean, again, this isn't confirmed, but I mean, let's be real. Ninja Turtles has literally crossed over with practically everything in the toy aisle except Transformers and G.I. Joe. They've crossed over with WWE, Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, He-Man, Karate Kid, Street Fighter, Batman, Stranger Things, Star Trek, and even at one point there was plans to do a Star Wars crossover line with Ninja Turtles. They've been practically with every line that could be conceivably that would make sense, and yet somehow there hasn't been a Transformer one yet, or GI Joe. Two big Hasbro brands. I guess maybe because they're the faces of those companies, Hasbro against Playmates at the time. But it's kind of wild. So it's finally, hopefully we'll be getting some Ninja Turtle crossovers. I know for years they had their own mutation line back in the late 80s, early 90s, trying to capitalize on that Transformer hype. But hopefully that'll be a crossover. That'd be really cool. Give it there was supposed to be many years ago, there was a prototype of a giant transforming turtle van that had Metalhead as the head and everything. It was really cool and just never came to be. The images are out there. Project Tails, no idea. Could be Sonic, could be DuckTales, could be anything. Who knows? That one's a little more obscure, unless I'm missing something. Could be Tales of something else. Who knows? But definitely hope it's Ninja Turtles for that one and Knight Rider. It's got to be Knight Rider. Come on, how do you not do Knight Rider? Like, of all the other iconic 80s vehicles we've gotten up to this point, how is that one still the last? And it's not like, Ninja Turtles, I get it. They still have cred. They don't need to cross over with Transformers, but Knight Rider has been floundering for years in obscurity. And I mean, the last time we got any kind of Knight Rider merch outside of, like, let's say the odd Funko Pop or something was uh Playmobil did an amazing Knight Rider vehicle. Yeah, man, that thing is incredible. But I mean, come on, guys. You got to do the Knight Rider. How is that not existing? Let me know what you think, though. If I'm wrong on any of these three, super chat or let me know what you think it is. For sure, definitely. But yeah, that's it more or less. That's it more or less for the news. It was just a lot of listings and stuff, and I mean, the only other thing I just want to just like remind people with the TF1 thing is all we know from these listings is from the Prime Changer listing, and I talked about it in the individual segments. Because of the Prime Changer listing on Amazon, we do know that it's going to be something in that deluxe class kind of price point, kinda. But I mean, I don't even want to call it that because it could probably be its own thing. And we know that those toys are going to be shipping out August 2024, which is 1 month before the movie comes out because the movie is supposed to come out September 13th, 2024, assuming that even stays. We will see. We will see what happens with that. But we'll keep you updated on the podcast as always. But yeah, that's it more or less. Um, we'll do some sponsorship stuff. Then we'll talk about some cool toys that we got. And then we'll open it up to super chats and YouTube member questions from the fans. And the first thing we're going to cover is, of course, our boys in the plush world, Symbiote Studios. The plush, the pins, and the t-shirts, although the pins have been retired, so it's just plush and t-shirts now of Transformers. And of course, we got all the great ones here. I'm rocking, of course, the Grimlock Loves to Munch medal, as well as other things. Looking really good. Of course, we got the Ultra Magnus coming later this year. Stay tuned for that. I will announce when the Ultra Magnus goes live and hopefully doesn't sell out too quickly. I know people have been really digging for that one. And some other future characters that are coming, because we got quite a few. The Winter Kit, if you didn't get the Winter Wonder Wardrobe Kit, that is also available on the website right now. If you want to do a little DLC upgrade for your Autobots, your Decepticons, or some of your other characters. And of course, here's everything that's available up to this point. Hopefully we'll get some more information in the near future on what's happening with Wave 8 for early 2024, along with some nice photos and everything. we'll see about that. And of course, all the others. Again, the pin collections from Power Rangers are on sale right now, so get those before those sell out. Already the Tommy stuff has been selling out, but get the other ones too. I know I picked all mine up. Got my Black Ranger and Red Ranger because those are the men. Those are the awesome ones. And there's only one pin left of the My Little Pony stuff, the Applejack one. Everything is selling out fast, so get those while you can. G.I. Joe, all kinds of great stuff. Thank you, Symbiote Studios, once again for being an awesome sponsor of everything on this podcast. And of course, let's talk about the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We have our latest episode that's up right now talking about the history of Tidal Wave. Be sure to check that out if you have not already. A good hour and so talking about the history of this character. Literally, again, when we do character specific episodes on Toy Armada, we literally cover everything we could possibly can. And we talk about the prehistory, how this character came to be, behind the scenes stuff, prototype art, all kinds of great things. And we even touch up on the new one too that's going to be coming out in United. So check that out. Again, the Toy Armada and Air Archers. Throw that in your YouTube search. Check out that channel. Subscribe, watch, like, comment, and everything like that. And help support the Toy Armada and Air Archer. A view to that channel doesn't just help me out, but it also helps Mr. Archer. So check that out too. As well as if you want to get some Aaron Archer stuff, The Art of Transforming Robots Volume 2 Color Edition is available on the website. I don't know when this one's going to be retired soon because Volume 3, I believe, will be debuting at TFCon Toronto in July this year. So don't quote me on it, but I would suggest getting this one while you can before it sells out and is retired. But we will see what happens with that. So again, $20 for that one, $15 extra, and you get a custom sketch on the inside. And I didn't update it here, but there is a ton of new instruction art that was added to archermonster.com/shop, Aaron Archer's web shop. A lot of Cybertron stuff. There's a Cyber Shark. There's I'm trying to remember some of the others. I know he put a Lio Convoy up there. A lot of really good stuff. I'm very impressed with what he put up there. And there were some commissions he did recently. If you follow him on his Instagram, man, there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of really good stuff. We got a YouTube member question from Princeton Phalanx 59. What are some legacy figures that got canceled? Well, I know that like the big one was we were supposed to get some shape or form of a Straxus. And we talked about it in a previous segment where we were supposed to get maybe Straxus and Legacy was going to have some kind of TV series and the Straxus was going to be, some kind of leader class figure, but none of that ever came to be. I'm sure that when the entire trilogy is behind us, a lot more of that NDA stuff could kind of bubble to the surface because a lot of times they don't want to talk too much about stuff that they canceled because they still might find a place for it in the future, especially when it comes to like certain figures. Because, let's be real with Legacy. If something gets canceled in Legacy, it still could fit anywhere else. A canceled Legacy figure could fit in a Studio Series 86, could fit somewhere else, could fit in as a Target exclusive or a sell-in for an Amazon exclusive or a retailer capsule. So it just kind of makes sense. But I think I think we're going to learn a lot more about that as time progresses. We will see. We will see. But yeah, anyways, thank you for the question though. But yeah, check out archermonster.com/shop for all of that. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of good stuff. And that's it more or less now. We'll open it up to some questions and then we'll talk about some wacky stuff that we got here today while doing some toy hunting in the 10 to 12 inches of snow here in Montreal. T-Formers 2002 with the YouTube member question. News broke that some listings are currently missing. Oh, we're talking about those ones that JT Prime talked about. That was the, it was 4 of them that got changed. What were the 4? I forget those ones. But yeah, supposedly those were changed. But that happens a lot. Sometimes you have where there's listings that are put out and then those listings, sometimes they're code names, sometimes they're characters that, they're going to be used here, but then they get used elsewhere. I know that in the past when we had listings that were removed, they end up in other places. This Galvatron was supposed to be here, got removed. Then like 3 months later, this listing shows up and now it's a Studio Series item, or now it's this, or now it's that. So I heard about that. I didn't get much time to look into it though, unfortunately, because it was a little crazy today. But I know that Monday this week we'll probably cover some updates and stuff like that too. I know that we got a Transformer Tuesday coming up. That's a big one that people need to make a note of. We're going to finally get our Titan class tidal wave segment. That's going to be coming this Tuesday, as well as the pre-order going up. But I know for a fact there's going to be something else in that segment. It's not just going to be about tidal wave. So stay tuned for that one. That's going to be pretty exciting. Okay, it was the Dinobot. Yeah, it was a core class Dinobot and a deluxe class Sure Shot. I'm actually surprised about the Sure Shot being canceled. I really feel the Dinobot one, it's a core class. That's something where it's like I feel that they're going to stick that somewhere else in the future. It's not a big deal. The Sure Shot surprises me because I know that Mark and Evan love completing their little micro collections, and Sure Shot would fit in with the Point Blank and the crosshairs that we've already gotten up to this point. So I could see them taking that and then putting it somewhere else. Like, oh, you know what? Let's not put the Sure Shot for main retail. Maybe this is something we could sell in for Amazon. Maybe that's what that, Sins of the Wreckers thing. Who knows? We'll see. We will see. Not Sins of the Wreckers, the Mayhem Attack Squad. Who knows? They'll throw them in there or something as an Autobot, counterpart to whatever villain they put in the box. We'll see. We will see. But I'm going to dive deep more into that because I want to look at the codes. The one thing that people always forget is when they see those listings that are canceled. Let me just show an example. Actually, let me pull up. Where's that Ninja Turtle one I was just talking about? So if you look at the product code. So those ones that got canceled, right? The Dinobot and the Sure Shot. Make a note of their product code, and in the future, if we ever see those product codes again, you'll see what they were actually renamed into and what they were. Because sometimes it wasn't a canceled product so much as a changed listing title. So we will see. We will see what happens with that. A lot of cool stuff though. Let me just make sure I don't miss any questions. We got a super chat from Ibrahim. How you doing, Ibrahim? Thank you for the super chat. Hey Proto, hey Proto, any thoughts about a new Abraham, you saw my tweet. Any thoughts about the new Masami Obari series, Bang Brave, Bravearn? Looks like it might be good. Yep, I saw the trailer. I actually retweeted Masami's Twitter post because I love Masami Obari. I don't think there's anything he's ever done that I don't like. Even the more hentai stuff of Gao Kaiser and some of even like the weirder stuff. I love everything he does. The Fatal Fury stuff he did. I mean, he's just incredible. His mecha designs are great. His human designs are awesome. I mean, man, oh man, like I love everything he works on. I mean, the guy worked on Transformers since day one, A lot of Optimus's angular designs and stuff that we all associate with him now come from Obari-san. And this is kind of like a spiritual successor to the Brave series, which is pretty cool because we haven't had a new Brave, incarnation in animation. There's this and that with toys and Super Robot Wars, but this is the first time we've had some kind of a full-fledged series or something, or even a movie or an OVA, anything like that. And it gives me a lot of like an X-Kaiser kind of vibe, at least in terms of the visuals. So I'm very excited about it. It's coming out very soon too. So anyone that's curious of what I'm talking about, just go on my Twitter and scroll down. Like I don't tweet that much, so it'll be easy to find. I think it's like my fourth post from the top of Masami Obari's new series. It looks good. Looks really good. Looks really good. I'm just saying, looks really, really good. Thank you for the super chat, Abraham, and thank you for talking about that. I know I want to talk about it. Ryan Strange, we were supposed to get only 2 Bay figures this year. Now we're getting only 1. That's awful. There's still several Bay figures we still need. Well, you know what? You got to understand something. Like, I mean, Hasbro's going to want to milk this Studio Series line forever, and they got to slowly put out those throwback ones. It's like I'm sure every time it's a movie year, they're happy because like, oh, it's a movie year. We could do like Studio Series of like 12 characters and buy those slots. But then as that passes, then they go, "Ooh, no, what do we do?" I mean, that's why I feel they even invented the core class for Studio Series. They're just like, "Oh man, we need to put out product, but we've pretty much done everybody. Why don't we do a smaller price point so we could just fill in those gaps, for, making money. Um, Link CW is Chris Cox. Chris Cox move to fire the employees and close warehouses going to affect our brand? I'll just cut it off right there. No, actually, I don't want to say who I was talking to, but Transformers was not affected at all by everything. Um, I don't want to say the guy because I don't want to get him in trouble though, but a very, 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 very reliable source that I've talked to for many years, from Hasbro, pretty much said that the biggest section of Hasbro that got affected by those firings was the TCG Tabletop Wizards of the Coast division. And when you find out who those people were and what they were hired for, it would almost be even more kind of bad. But I'll just leave it at that. You could probably, there's just go on, on social media. They're already kind of burying stuff to begin with. But Transformers has not been affected at all, at all. It's quite wild, how, because you have to understand something like the Transformers team is not as big as, say, as some of the other teams within Hasbro, and you might find that confusing. Like, well, but isn't it one of the biggest brands of Hasbro? Yes, it is. But the thing is that Hasbro is only one part of the Transformer brand. There's another part of the brand that's Takara Tomy, and they are like the ones carrying a lot of the weight of engineering, design, ideas. They go back and forth with everything. So it's not like where when you look at, let's say, the Marvel Legends or the Star Wars stuff, that's 100% Hasbro. There's no like other company that's kind of sharing the burden with that and the manufacturing. I know if Aaron was here, if he is here, I know Larry popped in. Larry's here. What's up, Larry? And David Cabal's here, and Ashnut is here, and DW Brown. Everyone's showing up. Um, but it's something where it's a very unique brand for Hasbro because they don't have to take all of the weight. So as a result, there's not like if you took the whole Hasbro Transformers team, it's maybe 12 people. No joke. Like no joke. Like start to like top to bottom, designers, marketers, like everything, social media people. It's like I think it's like 12. It's like no joke. Where if you look at the Marvel Legends team, you're talking like 40 people. If you're talking the Star Wars team, I can't even fathom that because I'm not part of that world really. But like there's like a ton of people probably for Star Wars. So because there's so much less, there's less fat. Everyone who's there is doing their job and doing their job. There's no like fat that has to be cut. It's like there's three designers, and then all those other designers are Takara's problem. And Takara's Japan, and they have their own loyalties and how they handle business. It's different, Again, Iwata-san and his legendary taking a cut just so other people couldn't get fired. It's a whole other story. But I mean, we're a very protected brand. Let's put it that way, just because of how lean it is in a lot of ways and how well done it is. Because it's it's a partnership with a Japanese company. I hope that answers that a little bit. I want to make sure I don't miss anything here. Any idea why we can't do movie live action into Legacy? They don't want to mix the peanut butter and the jelly. They feel that if they're going to do movie toys, it'll be studio series, and it's something where, I mean, let's be real. I think you would want it to be in studio series. You'd want it to be done right. You know, I mean, it kind of goes without saying. It's which would you prefer? It be put into legacy or legacy-ish or classics-ish, whatever you want to call it, but it's not done 100% to the best it could be that it would be in, let's say, a studio series? I don't think so. DW Brown, YouTube member question. Since you like Abari-san's work, are you interested to know your opinion on some of the possible IDW fans saying their design of RC or are sexist or let me tell you something. Look at me when I say this right now, okay? As a hot-blooded male who had, look, I might be going bald now, but back in the day, look at old photos of Proto Man. He had no problem getting the ladies, okay? And let me tell you something. Anyone that complains about, oh, this is sexist or objectifying, they got something else they got to deal with that has nothing to do with robots that are shaped like ladies. Let me tell you something right now, okay? I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it's just It's drawings. It's cartoon characters. You want to attack objectification? Go attack the beauty pageants, but you won't because that's too easy. You know, you won't. You're not going to attack beauty pageants. You're not going to attack all these celebrities that look fantastic on Instagram, musicians, models, everything. No, you're going to attack a cartoon. Really? That's going to be the hill that you're going to die on? Those people that complain about that stuff, like I said, there's a lot more going on here that they have to work on before they worry about there. I've always said, and I keep saying this 100 times, sometimes if you could just see the person on the opposite side of that screen that's typing feverishly on Twitter and you saw what you were dealing with, all of a sudden you would be like, oh, I get it now. So let me tell you something. Obari-san is a Japanese anime designer from the 80s who draws hot Japanese anime characters. It is what it is. But you know what? If you look at Obari-san's work, look at all his male characters. Look at Terry Bogard with his nipples and abs and everything. He draws sexy men and sexy women. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know? And my boy, where's my boy? Let me pull him up here. Where is he? Kim Kapawan from Fatal Fury. One of my favorite characters from Fatal Fury. Taekwondo expert. Love Kim, you know? But it's, it is what it is. The thing is that, when you dial back the history of Transformers or even just giant robots in general, actually, let me pull one up right now. Like, you could go like to the 60s and the 70s. Where are you, Minerva? And, like Mazinger Z, you know, there's the feminine form. And now you will argue, oh, well, not all women are like that. And you'd be right. Not all women are like that. But when you're doing fiction, you want to have optimum stuff. Let me talk about my boy here, Hot Rod. It's a muscular, nice chin, good looking dude, No one ever oh, why isn't he? You don't have any Transformer fans who are like fat dudes going, well, why isn't Hot Rod fat? I feel objectified. That the chosen one is a good looking dude with a nice jawline, and you know, it's a very small, very vocal group of people that here hurts more than the rest of the world for them. There's a lot more things they have to get over. Aphrodite one, thank you, Timmy. It skipped my mind, everyone. And Minerva X, I believe. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna argue with people that have their own problems. That's something that they have to get over before. You know. Where we go? Timmy K. Point X Squire. Peanut butter jelly is my too much sugar in my opinion. Not big on jelly. Peanut butter too is a lot of sugar. Once in a while. Tucker, if he can draw sexy men too, someone get him to draw Danny DeVito. He could draw anything. Look, it's cartoons. You know what? And I always say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. That's what I always say. We live in a world today that there's so much media, so much content, that if something comes out that bothers you and then you hone in on it, every minute you spend watching that content instead of enjoying something, come on, how you live in life, man. Like, look, I don't like, let me think of something that I'm not a big fan on My Little Pony. Doesn't mean that I spend every waking day of my life feeling that, complaining about My Little Pony and why it doesn't appeal to me. No, I just enjoy what I like and that's it. And let someone else enjoy it. That's how it is. Look, there's tons of yaoi anime. Yaoi is boy love anime, boy love anime. And that stuff exists. It has its market. And okay, doesn't say, I'm not like banging on my screen going, no, it shouldn't exist. It's fine. Let those people enjoy it, and that's that. There's a market for everything. Ron Diaz, speaking of designs, I appreciate the design of the Transformers on Skybound series. Much simpler than the IDW designs. Um, horse phobic. I don't know if there's a horse phobic. Uh, you know what? The IDW designs were something that was an evolution over time. When you look at like the grand history of IDW and what they were trying to do from step to step and the different artists, it went from this is going to be G1. Then it became, let's do some original designs. Then Alex Milne came in and went, let's do some original designs that could be cars, that could be trucks. There was a lot of confliction there. Um, but yeah. David Cabal, what's up, David? I just watched Heavyweights, still such a great movie. I have never seen that movie. Is it any good? Never saw that movie. Not enough time in a day. Not enough time in a day. What was I watching recently? What was I? I was watching something recently that was really good. Oh my god, why does it escape me right now? Tucker, if there was a Hot Rod Milo Ponytail, Proto would grab it. Yeah, of course, of course, of course. I look. I don't like Funko Pop, but there's a reason why this guy's missing, and this guy's still in the package. Coming to a Transformers parts party, Proto Man parts party near you. He's gonna get sold, probably. I'll be honest. Like if they do a hot rod one, of course I'll pick it up. Like I love the Simpsons. They did a Simpsons toy line. Didn't pick up anything from that. But when they did a Bret Hart figure, I picked that up. Sometimes look, I'm not big on He-Man, but when they did the Kane and the Roboto, which was pretty much Kane, I picked those up. Once in a while. There's something that speaks to me and I pick it up. And just because I don't enjoy the rest of it doesn't mean I'm going to sour everyone else's parade. Let them enjoy it, you know? Timmy K. Poindexter Esquire just finished Empire Strikes Back with my son for the first time. His jaw dropped. That's good. Now the question is, Timmy, are you going to let him know that the prequels exist? That's the big question of a lot of parents. It's like, do I show him the prequels or do I never show him the prequels, or even more so the sequels? Maybe you finish it with Return of the Jedi and then you turn him and you go, son, and they never made anything else. Or maybe give him a couple of old 90s video games or something like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Uh, that's good stuff. D.W. Brown, the stories in IDW were not my thing, but I did love the designs. I picked up everything, every one of Hasbro's translated into figures. Yeah, there's nice designs. I mean, Drift was a cool design. I love Casey Collar's Blur was also cool. There was a lot of cool stuff that came out of it. Look, the IDW books, I don't think they're amazing, but I don't think they were bad either. They had good points and bad points. There's certain Transformer series that they have they bring something fresh and new that could be used for the future, and they bring some stuff to it also that kind of maybe holds it back sometimes. But that's always how it is. Not everything could be Beast Wars. That's what I always say. But Beast Wars came out of the dark times. David Cabal, it's like a spinoff of the Mighty Ducks. Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. With Emilio Estevez and Mike Modano made a cameo in that first one. Boo Cat. How you doing, Boo Cat? I like that they made the Kane from the Roboto. I know. And because Kane had that robot voice back in the day. Undertaker from Scareglow. Those were amazing. Supposedly, actually, because I got this. I think Ninjatron, if he's in the chat today, also picked it up. I got this at Dollarama in Canada. And that's that's kind of like our Family Dollar chain here in Canada. And now they have a butt ton of He-Man stuff now. Now they got all the first couple of waves of this of the like vanilla He-Man stuff. Supposedly that's all there now for like $5 Canadian, which is like $3.50 American. I'm tempted to get some of it. And I don't even want it. It's that cheap. Where are we at? Where are we at? If I miss any comments or questions, guys, or YouTube questions or super chats, just throw them in there, peeps. Prequels exist, not the sequels. Okay. Some of the episode 3 is good. Episode 3 was a good movie. 1 and 2 maybe not so much. I mean, 1 and 2 have their moments. Duel of the Fates, the final battle for episode 1. But the Yoda fight's kind of funny in episode 2. Uh, you got the Weird Al one. You know what? I wish they kind of continued that line more, but again, it's hard to get the rights to a lot of those real life people to make into toys. I want to get a second of that Bret Hart one day because I have the Bret Hart one, but I never opened it. I'd love to get a second one. I got it at convention. Oscar, hey Proto, is there gonna be more than 4 series of Legacy United? I think that it's again gonna be a trilogy, and then they're gonna move on to something else. I don't know why I'm saying that. I must have heard that somewhere. I think that was something that either Evan or Mark said, not BMAC, that they said it was gonna be another trilogy, and then they're gonna do something else. Because Legacy is pretty much rounding off and then they're going to jump into kind of a 40th anniversary kind of thing. And who knows what that's going to be, because we have a few teases of what that might be through listings, but nothing confirmed yet. Wow, great prices. Yeah, again, those He-Man things. Right now there's He-Man. If you're a Canadian for Dollarama, He-Man, Minecraft stuff is there. Princess Bride, a lot of McFarlane stuff is showing up there. I saw the My Hero Academia stuff. Everything $5 or less Canadian, which is like nothing. Might as well be like $3.50 American. T-Formers 2002. I don't really buy anything outside of TS, but Super 7 almost got me with the king size Homer. Maybe when you see it on sale. Yeah, I'm waiting for some of their Ultimate stuff. I would love to get their Radioactive Man that they did. Maybe the Ralph too. Maybe the Duff Man. I don't know. They're really cool, but again, $55 cool American. I don't know. That's where I kind of like go, ugh, little tough. When you're trying to balance the budget, let's put it that way, it's a little tough. Roman Shilling Proto, will we see Bruticus in Legacy? I don't know. I doubt in Legacy, but we will see him at some point. Those trademarks do have to be used, but not in Legacy. Not yet. As far as United goes, we pretty much know all the cards that are on the table. And considering United might be the end of Legacy, I will say no for now. But that's not to say he won't be in the future. Oscar says, cool stuff, Proto. Appreciate it. Hey, man, Oscar, thanks for being a fan, man. Thanks for joining the YouTube membership, too. Help support the podcast any way you can, especially after the holidays. YouTube actually kind of throttles down on a lot of us after the holidays. Usually, like if you ask any YouTube content creator, like when's like the worst months, it's always like February to April. Supposedly is like the worst. So, Link CW, hey Proto, do you think Hasbro's Monstroctor Dino King will come with the shells or better combiner parts? I think they're probably going to retool them, like the core class figures themselves. I don't think they'll come with shells, unfortunately. Would I like if they came with shells? Of course, but I don't think they will. I think that's way too much investment for something that might not work out, in my opinion. It's something that they'll do it for us, and that'll be it. And you know what's going to be sad? Like here's a prediction, and I know it sounds negative, but they'll make it a box set. We're all going to love it, but then it's going to end up on sale because only a small portion of us ended up buying it. Like, that's what I feel is going to probably happen. It's kind of like Black Zarek. Black Zarek, I was like, wow, people finally get Black Zarek. They finally get the Scorponok mold if they couldn't get it. They finally get to own a Black Zarek because owning a Black Zarek is madness. Because if you want to own the original, you might as well throw your money away because of GPS and plastics and everything. It's $1,000 and you still break it, you know? And then it still ended up on sale, you know? Like Black Zarek went as low as like, geez, $65, I think. I mean, it was nuts. So, and I feel that, Dino King, they'll do it. They'll make some sales. It'll go into the hands of people who are passionate about it, me included. But I think at the end of the day, it won't get the wide numbers that maybe they'll hope for. But it doesn't matter because they already made the money from the tooling and sculpting from the Dinobots. So it's the repaint. So it's not as big a deal if it doesn't do well. Tucker says, well, I got to head home from work. Going to listen to D. Snyder's House of Hair. House of Hair. On the drive home. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Take care. Take care. Thank you for coming by. GR Mina, I mainly collect TFs, but I dabble in Soul of Chikokin. When they release some of these 80s super robots I grew up with, of course, super robots in the Philippines are the big business, especially Dimos, which is my favorite. I hear you. Timmy K. Point, Extra Hey Proto, any rumblings of what the next TF line's name will be? Well, the listings that we saw online. So we saw some listings. These are far-flung listings for October 2024 and very vague stuff from December 2024. I believe I talked about it 3 months ago on the podcast, maybe less. And they're right now codenamed under 40th anniversary. That's all we know. And it's separate from like the reissue 40th anniversary stuff. That's different. Like what the blaster is and the Soundwave. So because the true 40th anniversary of Transformers is actually in the later half of 2024. It's not the first half, it's the later half. So it's something where, I think that whatever we get will be like that true 40th anniversary line. And I think that they'll use that year to celebrate those early parts of the characters, maybe do some good, reimaginations, maybe revisit some of characters that haven't had updates yet. We're waiting on Gears, waiting on a good Wind Charger. Certain characters just need updates. A good way to do certain characters that maybe they did have toys but are now expensive today. So it will be interesting to see what they do. It will be, or and then they could go into Origins and go like, hey, look, we gave you Bumblebee, we gave you Jazz, we gave you Wheeljack. Here's the Origins Soundwave. That's the lamp post or the communication tower, as they like to romanticize it as today. They could do that because that's a 40th anniversary because that's like episode 1. There's a lot of fun that could be done there. I'm just spitballing a few ideas, but there's a lot of fun that could be done there. Would third party make shells happen? Well, there is a third party company that did make Dino King shells, but they're pretty expensive. And I mean, I wish I could show you guys. I have some of them. They never finished it, unfortunately, proper. Some of those shells ended up going for crazy money. I know that. Well, look, if if they're core classes, you can make small shells. And if there is a third party company that's willing to like just make all 6 in a box set and just the shells, I mean, that'd be very inexpensive for them. They don't have to be articulated shells. They could just be like 2 pieces, a Sufobi kind of plastisol, and like what the originals were. Oh, you can't see them because it's being blocked over there. That's such a bad place to put that box now. You could barely see the Monster Pretender shells. You could barely see the Dino King shells behind there, but Power Glide, that's another one that's needed, but Abraham says. Really like my Scorponok and Black Zarek. Got upgrades for both of them. Really cool. I think they're great molds, and I think they're great opportunities for people. It's just that people didn't pick up Black Zarek, and he ended up on crazy clearance. And it's amazing too, because when you think about it, like, that was supposed to be a Gen Selects exclusive. So that means there was a lot of extra inventory that Hasbro had in order to like give it to all these different closeout places and for them to do a clearance price too. Tom Lady, I'm sure they'll also be re-releasing 86 movie again in theaters. Of course. Of course. 86 movie, when you think about it, like always had like an anniversary kind of thing. So when that first DVD came out, right? That very first DVD that we got of the 86 movie, that like I think it was done by Rhino. That was celebrating the 15th anniversary. That's what it was doing. The very first Rhino VHS that we got in 1996, celebrating the 10th anniversary. When we got the 20th anniversary one with the lenticular one, then we got a 25th anniversary one, then we got a 30th anniversary one. They always celebrate an anniversary. They always put a new re-release of the DVD or a Blu-ray or whatever will be the next format if they still keep physical formats. We'll see. Discbeak, yeah, get that Laserbeak figure done with Origins. Ron Diaz, maybe Hasbro could cut back on Titan releases. Well, it's not that they'd cut back, it's that if they run out of ideas that make sense, like you could do Titan classes of certain characters, but who's going to buy them? I mean, I still stand by that. If no one was buying the Arc, and think about it, the Arc is, it doesn't get more G1 and iconic than the Arc. And the Arc went on clearance, like crazy clearance. Like people were picking it up for like $70 at some points. Probably people found it even cheaper. I wouldn't be surprised. And the Arc was going on clearance. What do you make that is going to be sell better than the Arc? Tell me, you know, unless they go back to a G1 Metroplex and watch it. And with inflation and the new pricing, what happens if that G1 Metroplex isn't as good as the original first Titan? And then people go, yeah, maybe I don't want that one, you know? Cringe McCringle, I'd love it if they could release all the shows and movies on Blu-ray for the 40th anniversary. Well, physical media is in a weird place. I think that I use the term boutique companies. There's a lot of boutique companies now that focus on bringing, high quality Blu-ray content of classic shows. Right Stuff is a good example when it comes to anime, at least, where they're like, "Hey, here's this like obscure '80s anime. We're gonna do a crazy remaster of the original on Blu-ray and everything." I could see one of those boutique DVD companies taking, licensing out G1 and making something amazing. Making something. I'd love if they back in the day they did that Matrix box set, DVD box set. I'd love if they would do something like that again. I'd be totally down for something like that. Um, where are we at here? James Hobson's waiting for the Nemesis to go on clearance. Me and you both. I don't have the Nemesis yet because I'm literally like this. I'm like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? There's gonna be like someone's gonna walk into an Ollie's and there's just gonna be a pallet of them. I just know it. I just know it. Tom Laney, so crazy when we go Transformers. When we go that Transformers is 40 years old, going on 50. Been collecting almost my whole life, brother. I'm turning 41. I'm right there with you. I am right there with you. But it's a lifestyle brand. It's something that I mean it goes forever. It's Transformers will never be canceled, will never be stopped, will never be discontinued. It is too powerful a brand with too powerful a fandom that spans multiple generations. Like when you really think about it, if you were a fan, if you let's say you were 14 years old in 1984, and then in like during the time of Beast Wars, you got married and had a kid. Your kid that you had during Beast Wars is now old enough to have a kid. So there could literally be 3 generations of Transformer fans that could exist right now, which is crazy when you think about it. Crazy. But it's a reality. That's what happens when you have these great lifestyle brands is that they'll always be there. And there's something safe and comfortable about it in my opinion that people take for granted in that you know, a lot of people could get into certain hobbies and then those hobbies could die. You could dive all your passion. As someone who plays a lot of Magic the Gathering and the TCG world, I could see a lot of people that get really hardcore into like a TCG and then it dies and then it's never heard from again. And they spent like the past 3 years of their life obsessing over it. Where I have nonstop, and there's receipts for this because I've been in the online fandom since 1996. My name is there in message boards and everything since 1996. And I've been a nonstop hardcore Transformer fan since 1996. I was a fan when I was a kid, kind of got tapered off during that Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, X-Men, Street Fighter arcade video games world of the late 80s, early 90s. But once Beast Wars came out in 95, 96, I came back and I never stopped. And I got the internet around then. And it was just, it's crazy, you know. JR Mina turning 42. We're all in the same boat, brother. You know, we're all in the same boat, but it's something where, you know, just keep healthy, keep happy. Don't worry about what's going on around you in the world and all the negative vibes and everything. Sometimes I feel those things are just for us to distract us from the really important things in life, trying to get our eyeballs on negative feels. The reality is in the world we live in, they don't want you to be healthy and happy. Because if you're healthy and happy, you probably don't spend that much money on stupid things. The good thing with being a toy collector, here's a Michael Koo present. The good thing with being a toy collector is you buy this, it makes you happy, and if you ever want to and you don't like it anymore, you could cash it out and get some money for it. And with the beautiful thing with being a toy collector, and here's a little Proto Man Money 101, is it's the only assets that you could own that you don't get taxed on, as opposed to if you own stocks, bonds, even money in your own bank account that you're using to gain interest on a high interest bank account, GICs and all that. Don't want to get too much into finance, but it's something where, being a toy collector or a physical collector of stuff, you own it. And if ever you want to cash out, you have an investment that you could get some money back. Sometimes you'll lose money, sometimes you'll gain money, but at least you have that opportunity, you know? Hope I didn't lose anybody. Abraham, been in robot hobby for near decades. Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy when I think about it. It's like, you know, it was me. It was like it was grade 8, 1996, shows how old I am. Watching Beast Wars and like, catching episode 2. I didn't get to see episode 1, but I saw episode 2 because and anyone who lived in Canada knows it wasn't called Beast Wars, it was called Beasties. And because it was called Beasties, unfortunately, a lot of people thought, "Oh, is this like a kiddie show for like, so we kind of ignored it. And then when we saw that it was actually Beast Wars, those toys that were on shelves that were sequel to Transformers, um, we all came screaming. But I saw that second episode of Beast Wars, and me and my sister, we went to Zellers, which doesn't exist anymore. Picture Target, but Canada. Me and my sister went to Zellers. I picked up Cheetor. She picked up Rhinox. And the rest was history. Rest was history. The Rhinox that's in my display is my sister's. The Cheetor that's in my display is the one that I bought back in 96. Then I discovered I had the internet at the time, but at the time, and I like literally like Beast Wars came out, and then I got like the internet like 2 weeks later. And the first things I was looking at on the internet was like Dragon Ball stuff and, all kinds of wacky shenanigans, wrestling stuff. But then one of my classmates who also had the internet, was a rich kid in the west end of Montreal, and he's like, "Hey, did you look up like Transformer stuff?" And I was like, "Oh, damn, you're right. That'd be so cool." And me, like, I only wanted to just look at pictures of the old toys because, like, no joke, I always bust out this box. Literally, in up until 1996, ignore everything behind you. This was every Transformer toy I owned, right here. This is literally it. And an Optimus Prime trailer that disappeared in a garage sale. Um, that's it. Couple Micromasters and my blaster. Nothing else. Little loose, broken, and I keep them in this little brake disc box that I got from my grandfather many years ago. And I keep it under the desk as a reminder of those humble beginnings. But, I had nothing. And then so when I got the internet, I was like, I want to see pictures of those old toys because, if you had a catalog, you'd be lucky, of an old magazine or something. So just to like find, and then I remember there was this website called Toy Archive, and they had scans of all the catalogs of G1. And it was just me going like, oh my God, oh, there's the Hot Rod toy. Oh, there's the Rodimus toy. Oh my God, look at Ironhide. Look how he doesn't match his. Great memories. Great memories. Mikey and Louie, we are such Transformer fans. We make our money transforming into make our money transform into toys. Well, that's kind of it. It's kind of what we do, you know. But it's again, it's one of the better hobbies because I'm someone who dabbles in a lot of different hobbies, a lot of different toy collect. I'm a video game guy. I actually just picked up this recently. It's actually voted one of the worst video games of all time. Anyone who knows what it is knows what it is. Um, from the Famicom. I'm a big video game collector. I'm a big video game merchandise collector. I like, different kinds of weird 80s and 90s toy lines. Like I collect a little bit of everything. To quote Jaws D, my best buddy on the planet who I've known my whole life here in Montreal. He's like, "What don't you collect?" you know? But as someone who's been dabbling in every hobby, Transformers is like such a stable one. It's such a stable hobby. There's a lot of financial safety with it. And what I mean by that is, yeah, we spend a lot of money, but if we ever want to cash out, man, are we like, if you're a Ninja Turtle collector and like you bought like everything during like the 2K3 series or the Nickelodeon stuff, none of that stuff is worth money today. Like you could be selling entire waves of that stuff loose complete, and no one's going to give you anything for it. But you take like Transformer Prime toys or animated toys. Like you go back like during Transformers animated, or let's look at Ninja Turtle stuff. Like during Ninja Turtles, Transformer Prime toys. You take complete Transformer Prime toys and put them on eBay, bank. You take like, some select Transformers RID toys, bank, money, you know? Where we at? James Hobbs, my first Transformer was G1 Ironhide. What a way to start. Saw it when my dad came home from being stationed overseas and threw a fit till he bought it. Well, hey, that's that. You know what's cool about that Ironhide? At least it comes with that little like play set. I guess we'll call it that. His little battle platform. That's what I always liked about that toy and Ratchet. T-Formers 2002. My G1 Sea Spray is always within reach, easily to remind me of the start of my collection of my madness. Hey man, Sea Spray is an awesome toy too. And fun fact with Sea Spray: if the doors on the side of Sea Spray are to scale, then he's technically one of the biggest Transformer characters from G1. Mike and Louie, my first Transformer was what I made out of Legos because I wasn't allowed Transformers as a kid. Well, again, like 50, like I just showed you that box of G1 Transformers, but I on the flip side of it, like most of my toys growing up that were transforming robots were not Transformers. I had tons of McChangeables, GoBot bootlegs. Gosh, did I have so many GoBot bootlegs? Not even GoBot bootlegs because they were so plentiful back in the 80s. Um, what do you call there? Converters. Had a bunch of those as a kid because those were just those one thing is that my father is a toy collector, and at a very young age, for me, he was already going to flea markets and garage sales, and I would always go with him. And that's why, like, I have some crazy early memories of going to like flea markets and seeing like, and we're talking like 1989, 1990. And the only reason why I could pinpoint that because I know like, what was hot at the time and what I was collecting as a kid. And I would see like people getting rid of their whole old GI Joe collections. Oh, here's the Rolling Thunder, the Mobile Command Base, not the USS Flag, but the Mobile Command Base. Here's Castle Grayskull and all these He-Man toys. People are just getting rid of it. And here's me just going like, whatever. I just want my robots, or like, Marvel toys at the time. What's up, Aaron? Coming late to the party, brother? Time are we at right now? We still got some time. We still got some time tonight. Seeing what someone knows, Takeshi's Challenge. Takeshi's Challenge. What's up? I would like to get a sealed copy, but I'll settle for a loose one for 100 yen. Where are we at here? Prince of Phalanx 59, Proto, what is for dinner? Had it early today because we ran a little late and we had to do a whole bunch of snow plowing and everything. So had dinner early. I had it's like roasted pork rolled up with bok choy, which is like I guess we'll call it a Chinese broccoli, probably is the best way to explain it, with rice. Kept it very simple today. Nice and simple. A protein, a carb, and a green vegetable. Keep it simple. With a glass of orange juice, get some vitamin C in you. Although you get it from the bok choy too, but I had some Zybots too. Those got destroyed. They were so cheap quality. Abraham, so many robots to collect between Transformers and Anime Super Robots. Oh, don't even get me started. Tons of it. Tons of it. Tons of it. Ron Diaz with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Ron Diaz, for the love and support. You think with the critical it's disappearing. With the critical reception of Skybound series will tell Hasbro to release G1 in a more mature audience like the comics is. Wish I could talk about this. A friend of mine is I don't want to talk about it. I can't. I can't. There's too much NDA stuff. I'll talk about it when it comes out officially, and then we'll talk about it. There's too many things I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss-say things. But yeah, just stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. There's certain things I'm always scared to go do too deep down the rabbit hole of explanation. I don't want to slip. But yeah, the comics are great. They're constantly selling out, making third prints, fourth prints, fifth prints. Skybound's doing very well with the books. Love what they're doing. But they have a good business mind for it. And it's no surprise that Todd McFarlane is trying to also get a little bit of the Transformer license for the future, at least with the Page Puncher stuff, because Todd has a great relationship with Skybound and Robert Kirkman and the Image guys and everything. So there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff in the future. There's two Hasbro guys in the chat right now, Ashnud. I don't want to, they're probably going, I can just picture like their hands are on their desk. They're just going, Daniel, don't say anything. Well, Proto, but Daniel, don't say anything. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But we'll see. We will see. I always say, stay tuned. Stay tuned here on the Transformers Slag Podcast. We'll see. Link CW should definitely thank your dad for teaching you the trade. A lot of people do not get that kind of connection with their parents. Well, you know what's funny? Like, my mom is the opposite. My mother doesn't collect anything. She's an animal person. She loves dogs. She loves cats. So that's why, like, I grew up with 3 dogs, 5 cats, 2 turtles. That's why, like, just go on Twitter if you can. Type @ProtomanDust. Just that. And every post that I talk about dust. And because when you have so many animals, you have so much dust on your toys. Oh my God, it was insane. And my mom was a smoker, so that didn't help either. All that smoke dust, but she kind of kept that away from the toys. Luckily, me and my dad's collection. But my dad was a toy collector and a vinyl record collector, and having that connection was very valuable. He brought me to comic book conventions, mostly because there'd be a record guy there too. But he did also because it was fun. We go to comic book stores. I was very lucky to have a supportive side of the family that understood that. And it's that whole nature versus nurture thing. Because I had that foundation, it led to me having a good foundation of understanding the toys, wanting to pursue learning more about it. Where, sometimes you could have parents that'll say, "Oh, why are you doing that? Why are you buying it? Well, what's wrong with you? You should go out and get drunk." Look, I collected like crazy. And it didn't stop me from meeting women, going out on dates. To quote Jaws D again, I don't remember Proto Man ever being single. I jumped from one to the next back in the high school and college days. Because while I obsessed over it, when I would leave the front door of my house back in the day when I lived with my parents, I didn't make that my life. Who this was more important. And if they got to know me deeper and they wanted to learn about me deeper, then they could come look at the madness that was in my basement at my parents'. I used to always say, people will respect you more for who you are and less about what's in your basement, as long as it's not a dead body. And I've had girlfriends in the past, they saw it and they didn't like it, but there's more women in the world than you think. So you'll meet someone that sooner or later will like you for what you love. And then they let you turn the entire house into a giant toy museum. And then you found the one. Link CW, do you think we will see Studio Series 86 Ravage? I think so. I think that'll be packaged with a Soundwave. It's pretty obvious. Hopefully something like Classics Hound. I think they'll do something, for sure. Ron Diaz, 40. You're going to be 40 in June, eating healthy, biking, kettlebell, beers. Brother, I always say cardio, not pushing yourself too hard, but cardio. Good cardio, no booze. No booze. Let's be real. Look, I know there's people that love alcohol, but booze is just not good for you. And, now people are learning more as time progresses. We're learning that, alcohol is just not good for you in general. but avoid booze, keep your cardio, don't smoke, balanced diet. You're still allowed to have, junk food once in a while, but balance it, not too much sugar, not too much carbs, and don't stress. Don't look at negative shit. Don't stress. If you don't stress, you'd be surprised how much, you won't have gray hairs. I might be going bald, but that's because I have too much testosterone in me, if anything. But you'll never see gray hair on Proto Man because I never stress. I don't worry about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? There's too much things for people stress about. Go on my Twitter. How many people do I follow? Practically nobody. And it's not an insult to anyone. It's just, I don't worry about social media. I post my stuff. If you enjoy it, I love that. If you don't, hey, that's how it works. I don't stress. I surround myself with good, positive people. You are always going to do better in life when you surround yourself with people that are creative, smart, intelligent, business minded, or you can hang out with a bunch of losers that talk shit all day. And that's just going to rub on you, you know? Paul with the $10 gold super chat. Thank you, Paul. Does Hasbro have studio recordings of the voice actors reading their lines for the 86 movie? It would be great bonus content to watch the movie side by side with recording sessions. That would actually fall onto Sunbow Studios, Toei Animation, and Marvel Studios, not Hasbro. A lot of that stuff has slowly started to surface. So recently, I want to say a week ago or 2 weeks ago, some of those recordings from the early season 1 and season 2 G1 episodes started to pop up. And it was really interesting to listen to those because you would hear Wally Burr, who was the famous voice director of everything Generation 1, the 86 movie, season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4. And you would hear Wally Burr, and you'd hear like Dan Gilbazin doing a line, and then Wally would come in and go, could you put more passion into it? And Wally would line read. And it really shows how Wally was a perfectionist. And as Nelson Shin said, the director of the 86 movie, Nelson Shin said, I think Wally Burr killed Orson Welles, because he would just, say that line like this, say that line like this, you know? That's something that Hasbro has nothing to do with. That's Sunbow Studios, Marvel Studios, and Toei Animation. Those three together would have that stuff in their archives. Who would have where? I don't know. That's something you'd have to ask them, unfortunately. But I hope that kind of directs you in the right direction. That stuff is slowly being unearthed. People are finding that stuff. I think it was Transformers to the Moon. I hope I'm not missaying. But it's been recent news that they were finding new audio recordings. Great stuff. Mike Ginou, hey Proto, what's the best investment toy-wise? I know this sounds crazy. Buying Transformer toys and not opening them. Mint and sealed package is way more valuable than loose. If I had to pick one toy line that if you bought and kept it sealed and it's worth money in 5-10 years, I know this is going to sound silly. Stuff like Beyblade, a lot, and obviously when I say it now, then everyone's going to be hoarding it and then the market gets crashed. But, when you look at, no joke, look at Beyblade toys that came out the same time as Armada. So and it's no offense, I love Armada, but if you took like a sealed Armada Hot Shot and you put it on eBay, you'll get like $50-$60, which is still pretty good considering you probably spent $9.99 back 20 years ago. But you took a Beyblade that you bought from Walmart for $5.99 sealed and you put it on eBay, $200. It is insane. There's certain toy lines that if you keep them sealed, because there's a lot of collectors that I call it new toy smell. They like having toys that have never been opened. I have a friend, I don't know if he wants to be shout out, local here in Montreal. We'll call him the Real Mike. That's what we'll call him, the Real Mike. That's a nickname that we used to give him. The Real Mike is obsessed with buying toys sealed. He doesn't like buying loose. And we once asked him, we're like, because he loves He-Man. And we're like, well, what do you do with vintage He-Man? He's like, I buy carded He-Man. And I'm like, what? And then you open it? He's like, yeah, sometimes. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. Like there's certain guys that are like that. They want to own it new. New. But yeah, buy stuff, keep it sealed. That's what always kind of adds to the value. People like that. Maybe not so much now because of this world we live in, but we're getting away from that. Hopefully, when they start sealing products again, you could have an untouched toy that you could invest in. MMA Panda with the $10 super chat. Thank you, MMA Panda. Good to see you again. I'd like to see all the Studio Series 86 Transformers renders or prototypes that are going to be out this year. Well, I would love. I mean, they keep saying how they sent out those renders of the designs to a lot of licensors and stuff. I would like to see what they do with that Unicron. I mean, obviously Super 7 did something, but man, I would love to. Come on, guys. Give me my Orson Welles Mango Unicron G1 1986. I want that. Not just I always keep this nearby. Not what Louis made for me and sent me as a gift, which kind of transforms, look at that. Wow. Yeah, kind of transforms. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Louis, for that, by the way. I love this thing. I always keep it nearby because I think it's so cool. Um, where was I? But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see them do stuff with prototype stuff, and that could always be the next thing they could do if they run out of ideas. That's right, Proto spit knowledge today. Not so much knowledge, just trying to help you guys out with the questions. Space Ghostal, Michael with the super chat. Um, I am doing some retro games with PS1. Any good Transformer games for that system? Ooh, that's I believe you. I got to play Lunar 1 and 2 again. Lunar 1, Silver Star Story, the remake on PlayStation 1 is fantastic. But I do feel the PSP remake that they did recently is even better because it restored the Japanese audio, which I love the music from the Japanese audio. Transformer games for PS1, unfortunately, you don't have much. You have the Beast Wars game, both the fighting game Beast Wars Metals and the original Beast Wars Hasbro Studios, which is a terrible game. And that's literally it, unfortunately. That's unfortunately it just for PlayStation 1. Luckily for you, both of them are American, so you could find them import. You don't have to import them. But the fighting game is pretty good, if not short. The platformer is pretty terrible. It was Hasbro Interactive when they had a small studio at the time. Didn't really know what they were doing. So I think I played them once on the live stream. I did like a video game day where we were playing some of them. But that's unfortunately it for PS1. If I have some PS1 suggestions outside of Transformers, if you haven't played Final Fantasy IX, that's my personal favorite of the trilogy from PlayStation. Um, Mega Man 8 is a personal favorite of mine too, but that's also in my namesake. I love Mega Man. I'd have to go into my game room and kind of list off stuff. There's a lot of good Armored Core games are really good. If you love your mecha stuff, robots, Armored Core is really fun. Did Front Mission come out in the West on PlayStation 1? I know there was a PS2 one. But there's a good Front Mission game too that's Japanese at least. The Street Fighter games are really good on there. EX Plus Alpha. Rival Schools is fantastic. There's a lot of good stuff there. I don't want to miss any other questions. Yes, I keep my box. Sadly, it takes so much space. It's not even a matter of keeping boxes, though. It's keeping them sealed. That's the difference. There's a big difference between keeping the box and cutting that tape there. There's the raw sticker. $7.99. Oh yeah. Love that. I keep the boxes till they took clamshells out of them. Well, again, keeping boxes only helps a little bit. I'm talking more sealed. Like, because the funny thing is I've seen in the past when you're selling Transformers that come with the box, but you opened it, it only really changes the value that much. And I've actually encountered people, mind you, this was from like selling at cons. You're like, oh, I have the box with it. They throw out the box. So I'd be like, oh wow. In my mind, I charged that price because it has the box. They paid, and then they threw out the box. Where if I didn't, or no joke, if I didn't have the box, I probably would have charged less. You know. Oh, it has the instructions, the trading card, and the box, and so I'll add another $5. They pay that extra $5, and they throw out the trading card, the box, and the instructions. It's like, okay. I always say, go to TFCon, go past any garbage in the vicinity of the con. It's just filled with empty boxes. People just throw out all their stuff there. Link CW, I have been seriously considering flattening all boxes and throwing out cardboard inserts. I'm keeping all plastic trays like Earthrise so I can put them back in the box. Oh, I mean, at one point, like I was literally like, if it was on a card back, I cut the bubble right off and just kept it flat, threw out all the bubbles. I remember I took every Revenge of the Fallen toy. I remember like I had all my Revenge of the Fallen toys sealed because when I moved into this house, Revenge of the Fallen had just hit. So I just every time I bought product, I'm like, I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to keep it boxed. When I moved in and I started setting up, I opened every Revenge of the Fallen toy. And I no joke, you know, like those recycling bins that are like the huge ones, the big green ones there. I filled it to the top with bubbles. It was insane. I have a picture of that somewhere because I was so surprised how much I filled it up. I think I posted on Twitter. And man, like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like if you think about that, how much space that took instead of recycling it, you know? Just always unload it. If you don't really need it, always unload it. I mean, I understand keeping a masterpiece box or Japanese or vintage or whatever, but I mean, unless you're keeping it sealed, like that's sealed, you know. That's not sealed, but that's a premium item, you know. It's not a premium item, you know. I would get rid of the box. There's no like you know, like this one here, right? You know, yeah, the character of Crasher is cool and stuff, but if I keep the box, you know, is it really going to change my life? So it's something, get the figure and enjoy it. Because I always say if you keep the box, it's like you bought two figures, so it takes double the space because now you have to put the box somewhere. Abraham Proto could Gino be used? Could be read as Ginou, meaning Silver King or Metal King. Well, Jin-O would make sense of Silver King if it used the original Diaclone color scheme, which I don't have that slide on me right now, but because the original Shuki second run colors in Diaclone was silver. So if it was Jin-O, because O means king in Japanese, and Jin means, yeah, I don't know about it meaning silver. I think it means more like metallic because Jin. I don't know. I'd have to read the hiragana again, but you might be right there. Maybe it was supposed to be Jin O, and they were going to paint it silver, and then they went off the rails and did their Doctor Yellow thing, and the rest was history. Uh, where are we at here? I love the FF series. Played them all. I love FF2. FF6, aka FF3 is my favorite. FF5 is really good. FF1 is a classic. FF9 is my personal favorite of the PlayStation ones, although I could understand why people love 7 too, mostly because of Tifa. Giggity. Um, yeah. Make sure I'm not missing any other questions. How much time we got left? Okay, we still got half an hour. Go through the boxes, purging every few months. Yeah, in all honesty, just send it back to the earth where it came, recycle it, put it out there. Because there's way too many times there is, oh my God, my friend Rob here in Montreal is not a Transformer collector, but he used to keep like all the packaging of the He-Man and Marvel Legends stuff, and we're talking like early Marvel Legends, like Toy Biz era, which had like these big bubbles. Like they were just like it was all the old Marvel Legends. It was like all plastic. It was all plastisol, and you had to like cut into those to get to the figures. It was crazy, and he kept all of that stuff. And I remember like he had a storage unit, and like just half of his storage unit was just empty boxes. And then one day he just threw it out. Like he got fed up because he realized, why am I keeping all these boxes? And he was right. Why was he keeping all these boxes? Even if he kept all those boxes to this day, if he tried to sell them 20 years later, still not worth anything. The gold rush is over. If you kept it sealed, again, this sealed, ignore this price. This sealed in 20 years, yeah, will have value. This separated with together with the box, a lot less value. And alone loose, a lot less value. But sealed, there's a value to it. Look up MISB Transformers from 20 years ago and see how strong the asking value is for them when they're sealed. There's a big difference there. Cringeman Kringle bought a Japanese movie 1 to 3 toy guide for 500 yen. Oh, you got one of these babies. Let me grab one here. What do I got here? One of these Generations guidebooks. This is a volume 3. I keep saying, guys, one day we're going to have a Proto Man sit down and we're going to go through these together. I really want to do that. I really do. Oh, no, pushed it back. I really want to I want to do a day where I'm still trying to figure out the setup. I was thinking of doing it in my kitchen because I have this nice big marble table that would like film really nicely because it would be like a black background, so when I would film down it would look really nice. But right now I'm sorting Marvel trading cards on the on the marble table. Marvel. I'm sorting Marvel trading cards from the 90s. And so it kind of took over that table. And then I went, damn, like I guess I'm not going to be doing that. Kind of went down that rabbit hole. Went a little crazy. Started resorting everything and making sense of it all. Thinking of running because I run shows here locally in Montreal. I was thinking of running a comic book card show. So I've been kind of like going through my cards and stuff. Where are we at here? Will they do a box set for Raiden Trainbots? Would it be $1,000? Yeah, they actually are doing a box set of Raiden. Will they do a box set of the repaint? That's a different story. Tom Laney, so if Hasbro would dedicate production run of Trainbots, would they be cheaper for us to buy? If a robot would be a Trainbot, even matter if it cost them too much to get all of them? Well, to answer your first question, all masterpieces, when they had a Western equivalency, were always cheaper than their Japanese equivalency. Japan, and let's just even ignore masterpiece. Japan always pays more for their Transformers. Chop just warned me. Juice it up. There we go. So there we go. So if we were paying $10 for our deluxes back then, Japan was paying like the exchange equivalency of like 21. If we're paying $20 for our deluxes, Japan's paying the equivalency of like 31, you know? So they've always paid more. And, when you look back at, let me try to think of something that was really paralleled. Like, no, I don't want to use Soundwave because he came with the cassettes. Let's use an example like what came out on both sides of the globe that more or less was the same. Because Hot Rod didn't come with his trailer. Uh, let's go with Starscream. You know, so MP3 Starscream. I think he was 3. Yeah, was he 3? Yes, he was 3. MP03 Starscream. Original MSRP, if I remember correctly, was easily over $150, if not more. Mind you, it was those weird colors. But then when Walmart got his screen accurate colors, man, that thing was like $55. So there's always a way to make it cheaper, but when you're buying and importing from Japan and their retail prices, you're always going to pay their prices. They always pay more. I don't want to make sure I'm missing anything here. Hasbro, if you're are listening, offer people to send old packaging for the recycling back. No, they wouldn't do that. They'd have to hire somebody and then they have to do all that headache. It's not worth it for them. Um, not sealed. It's got a hole in it. Yeah, I hope they get rid of that. I hope they put back, the windows. A lot of theft was going on. People stealing the heads of figures. Hate that. Proto Man, do those guidebooks have English translations? Unfortunately, not. Not many people own those guidebooks, let alone people who would want to do translations of them. I would love, if I had all the time in the world, I'd sit down and translate them all. I'd love to do that, but geez, to go page by page. Oh yeah, Proto, I got that Glacier. Glacier bought super fun little figures. Yeah, man, and they were on sale. They were so cheap. This guy here was like 80% off. So cheap. So cheap. Love them. Love them. They're great. That was on Entertainment Earth. Getting a free plug, Entertainment Earth. A lot of deals. Um, It's not a box set. It's a large empty box with great artwork to store the other separate boxes in or something like that. Oh, is that what it is? I don't know. I got them all individually, so it didn't appeal to me because it didn't sound like you were getting anything unique. So it's just an empty box, and oh, it's gonna come with kind of okay. There you go. That explains it. My pre-order didn't come in yet. Only got stuff from Korea. Some Kiat, hey Proto, in your opinion, which modern Transformer 2022 plus would you think would have a value in 10 plus years, mint and box? I'm thinking Cosmos and Crasher. I wouldn't put too much value into like let's say, maybe not this dude, but I wouldn't say so much Cosmos and Crasher because they could have a reissue that could come out that could tank that value. But I'm thinking more, like let's say any of those Studio Series guys, like let's say Studio Series Hot Rod, right? And I know that sounds biased, but like Studio Series Hot Rod or like a good Studio Series if they ever do, let's say Galvatron or like even the Voyager class Cyclonus that we had through Kingdom. I mean, there's certain characters that they kind of peaked in their retail version, and you can't even imagine what would come later that would make it better. So short of them reissuing those old ones and tanking that market, the sealed ones are going to have tons of value, like tons of value. So like, I mean, if you got a sealed Kingdom Cyclonus, my goodness. I mean, I don't know where they could go with that one to make it better. Um, if you had the RC, the Studio Series RC, where are they going to go with that to make it better? A lot of the recent stuff that we got during that John Warden era, like the Voyager Inferno. How do you do better than that? The Voyager, Grapple, and I'm just looking at some of them. Like certain ones, it's just like, where do you go from there? Like, how could you make it better in a world where plastic is becoming more expensive, and if anything, they might even get worse over time. Some of those, if you have them sealed, a sealed like G1, Inferno, Kingdom, you know, or some of those Beast Wars characters, that Tarantulas, where do you go from there? I mean, yeah, sure, we got those premium finish ones there through those Beast Wars again, 2 packs and everything, but some of those are just like they're gonna be winners 5, 10, 15 years from now. Because there's Transformer Prime toys and animated toys that still look 10 years later, 20 years later, we still haven't topped it. You know, if you want Vector Prime, yeah, I know we're getting a new Vector Prime, but if you want a Vector Prime, literally in 2026, it'll be 20 years since Vector Prime came out. Vector Prime, when he was 10 years old, was pulling down good money. Primus, you know, King Starscream, Scourge, aka Flame Convoy. I'm just gonna turn my camera here for a moment. Like just there's certain like we're, right now let's talk like this is the 10 to 20 year bubble here. What you got, like some of that Robot Master stuff, Universe 1.0, Titaniums, and then animated Cybertron, Energon, and then above there I don't want to screw up the camera too much, but alternators and Armada. This like end of the Archer era and then going into afterwards the John Warden stuff with the other displays. But there's a few, you have to look at some of those that the best version of that character is all funneled into one thing. Do you think Kingdom Slammer will have value? That's a tough one. How many people want Slammer to begin with? It's like, it's the same thing like Pretenders. Like there's not a lot of people that are clamoring for Octo Punch. So it's a tough one to like go, oh, well, the best Octo Punch is this or that, but no one wants it. It has to be an upper tier character that people enjoy, that has some kind of notoriety, that also has a figure that has some kind of like perfection to it. There's been a lot of Hot Rod toys, but are they going to top that Studio Series 86 one? Man, I don't know. So if you're sitting on a couple of sealed Studio Series 86 Hot Rods, and you come back in 20 years, I'm telling you, man, it's going to go up. I always say, take a Post-it, write on that Post-it what you paid with taxes. Like, what was your investment on that item? It's like, so if I bought I didn't buy this. It was a gift from Michael Koo, but so let's say you went to Ross, you bought this for $7.99. You literally write on a post-it, write $7.99 plus taxes, whatever you paid with your taxes. Every tax is different in every state. Put that post-it on it and set it and forget it. Put it aside and say you forgot it. You come back to it, and then you know what you paid, and then you could factor in inflation, so you have its buying power value too, and then you could make some sweet profit, man. It's as crazy as it seems. Sometimes it's worth more than gold. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes it's worth more than gold when you look how much the value goes up. I know it's nuts, but it's true. A new Metroplex could help Slammer, maybe, but then they might just include a Slammer with Metroplex, and then that doesn't matter anymore. That's the problem. Tom Laney, I think Target and Walmart exclusives are usually what I keep in box. Galaxy Shuttle, Speedia 500 collection. Again, Galaxy Shuttle, if they don't do a better Galaxy Shuttle in the next 10 years, then yes, I agree with you. That'll have a value. But if they do, which I think they will, because there's still going to be Space Shuttle Transformers until the end of time, I think that won't hold. I'm waiting on Octo Punch. Laugh out loud. This is DW Brown. I also love Wave Ride. Look, I love Pretender Shells too. Master Force is one of my favorite Transformer series, but I don't, just because it's my personal favorite thing doesn't mean that it's going to be of value. Netflix Bumblebee will have value, yes, until they replace it. Until we get a proper colored Netflix Bumblebee mold into something else, it's going to hold its value. Same thing with the Soundwave, which if you have a Netflix multi-pack Soundwave, the Earth cassette, get rid of it now, because the moment that Mark and Evan announce their new Soundwave mold, everyone's going to have to scramble to get rid of theirs. And so cash in your money now while you can. T-Formers 2002, get your wallets ready in a few weeks. Titan Returns Fortress Maxers reissue is coming. That's true. Next week, it's going to be Titan Central. We have a Transformer Tuesday next week. Speaking of spaceship TFs, I hope we could get an Armada Jetfire leader this year, or maybe the end of next year. There'll be one. Him and Overload for sure. The fact that the tooling is there on the Armada Optimus Prime, they don't do that just for fun. That's something they're going to plan. And the fact that they'll do a Jetfire, they're going to tool it in a way that they could turn it into other characters too later on. So, yeah, see James Hunt, Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. We'll probably get one at some point, and then that'll just tank the Netflix one. 100%. 100%. That's why that one I wouldn't invest too much in. You need something that it peaked, because you look at that Netflix Bumblebee and you go, oh, they're going to reissue it, or they're going to find a place to do it again. So, same thing with the Cosmos. When it's so limited like that, and that there's a demand, they're gonna meet it. But the Hot Rod, think about it. The Hot Rod got, like, the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod got released in the launch of the wave of 86. And then they did a reissue of it, I think in wave 3 or wave 4. So there's a good population of it out there, but how many of them are sealed? That's the secret. Mint in sealed box. When I'm saying investing, I'm talking mint in sealed box. Not open loose, not loose complete. Sealed. Where are we at? Proto only hits the non-member questions on slow nights. I rarely hit the non-member questions. Very, very rare. Very, very rare. I think in months and months and months of answering questions, I think I answered 2 or 3. Or alternatively, if it's a close friend that's in the chat that isn't a YouTube member, like, again, Aaron Archer, Paul, who's Goober, my sister when she pops in once in a while, Larry, again, Montreal local, Jaws D when he pops in. I try to respect my patrons, my YouTube members, and my what do you call it? Super chat people. I try to respect those. They're the ones that get the focus because they're the ones that support the podcast. That's what you got to do. The people that support you the most are the ones you should give the most attention to, because they're the ones that enjoy what you do, like what you do, and will always be there, even in the tough times. Cringe McCringle. If there ever a high ticket item that I would own and listing the same character of leaks, I'd sell it. I'll take my money. Well, again, I firmly believe that Cosmos is one of those that I'm so on the fence. I feel like something's coming and it's going to just if you didn't cash in now, try to cash in. Um I feel if you have multiple of those I know there's a lot of guys that were hoarding them because there was that one per case the one only case thing of Cosmoses. If you have multiple Cosmos, I'd say sell them now. Keep one for yourself so you don't feel bad, but sell the rest because I think something's coming. What about batteries for mint and sealed figures? Can't be helped, man. Look, check this out. Never took the batteries out of it. Probably not even going to play the sounds. Could barely hear it, but anyways, I don't know if you can even hear it, but you know, sometimes the sounds, the batteries don't burst because the batteries that Hasbro uses are actually pretty decent quality alkaline batteries. I actually had a couple for as an example somewhere. I mean, what causes batteries to burst is the gas inside the batteries building up due to the pressure because it completes the connection on the circuit, and it has a low charge that causes it to burst. But Hasbro's batteries are pretty good, pretty good. Um, Thanks, Proto. Fantastic, always a great time. Well, thank you, Tom Laney. Waiting for a new Studio Series 86 Soundwave, which is definitely coming. um, I feel that if you have a Studio Series 86 Soundwave and you would be willing to get rid of it because we'd get a better one later and you want to get that money, sell it now. Sell it now. I won't sell it because I'm not in the game of the buy and flip really for that. Um, and not to mention the one I got was a present from a fan, but it's something where I would sell it if you had the opportunity. Might be a good time to offload them. I would. I'm thinking of offloading my Trailbreaker and Sunstreaker due to the upcoming 5-packs. Again, think about it. Unless they do something special with those 5-packs that are vastly different than what you expect, it's going to tank that value. Think about how many people that have sealed Trailbreakers and Sunstreakers mint on card in the secondary market right now that are going for over $100. And then when that thing comes out, how that's going to tank that market. Because then people will have options. There's so many cases of hot Transformer product that comes out. The best example I always use is Jetfire. Like there was always like, this is the best Jetfire. This is the best Jetfire. This is the best Jetfire. And it's like, and people would pay exuberant amounts of money. Classics Jetfire. No, actually, it even goes more back. You go first to Beast Machine's Jetstorm repainted into Jetfire colors as Stormjet. Everyone was trying to get that figure because, oh my God, it's like a Jetfire homage. Then they did R Wing, whatever, this guy right here, you can barely see him, was a Cyberjet repaint. They did him. People were getting that one. Classics Jetfire. Then they were getting that one. Then they did a leader class during Thrilling 30s kind of era. It had the chrome on the boosters and everything. Then everyone was getting that one. And now we have the commander class, which is the new hotness. So it's something where there's always that goal to get a better version. And when you've been around collecting this long and seeing how, oh, this is the best Ironhide. No, this is the best Ironhide. No, this is the best Ironhide. No, this is the best Ironhide. And every single time that best Ironhide came out, people were overpaying to get that version. And then they feel silly when the better one comes out like 5 years later. It's tough. Where are we at here? Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything because we have only 4 minutes left. Try to get those super chats in, guys, before the 4 minutes are done. I've been getting my third-party movie masterpieces, Drift and Lockdown, and boy, do those tabs snap off. Not sure if the plastic is bad or what. Well, that's always the risk with third party doesn't have the same quality control. They don't, do testing and stuff like that that they do with official Transformer product. They have drop tests and stuff like that. Third party stuff is really cool, but it's at the end of the day, it's still third party stuff. So if you do have problems, just hope that you have a website that you bought it from that's willing to do replacements or contact the company and swap things. That's all I'm saying for that. You know, waiting for Studio Series Commander Class Astro Train. Oh, I don't know about that one. That would be a little wacky. Ashnud, a little bummed about Wheeljack in that pack. Haven't have enough of that one. They're trying to fill a need. Earthrise, a lot of it was bottlenecked because of COVID. A lot of people weren't able to get those products, so they're giving people opportunities. And I respect them for doing that. Do I need that stuff? No, I don't. I managed to get it all. But I do respect them doing that because it gives people other opportunities. Under the assumption that everything that's in this pack is just a straight up reissue or a slight tweak. You know? If it's something brand new, then hey, that's cool too. But I am totally cool with them giving people other opportunities to pick up stuff without having to worry about the secondary market hurting them. T-Formers 2002, I feel like the same is true with G1 Ultra Magnus. I don't have the Commander yet, but I still stand behind the CW one. Well, the CW one is very different, though. The CW one is a completely different Ultra Magnus. That's the thing. That's like saying, I don't need the Commander class Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus because I have the Energon one. It's two very different characters. Similar silhouette, similar design, but it's a different character, different structure, different way it looks. And there's a value with looking the way it looks in that Commander one as opposed to the IDW Comics version with Minimus Ambus. Cringe Kringle, I sold my Netflix Soundwave months ago, and that Soundwave listing when that Soundwave listing got out there, did the same thing with my Earthrise Ironhide and Ratchet. Woof. Anyone that made money during the Earthrise Ironhide and Ratchet, good on them. Good on them. Man, there was a lot of money that was made during that. It was insane. The Ratchet one, especially, it was, my goodness, people were paying like $400 for Earthrise Ratchet. Why? Goodness. Do you know what $400 gets you in Transformers? It's insane at one point what people were paying. Crazy. Patrick Brown, seller's remorse, had the 86 Magnus and sold it during Money Crunch around Thanksgiving. Can't find it again for less than $40 upsell MSRP. That's the reality, man. And again, it's a commander class, so how many of them are in the population? When you go to a Walmart, how many commander classes do you see on the shelf? Maybe one, maybe two, because they're two per case. How many cases does a Walmart order? Maybe one. So right away, the retail market is light on them. Same thing with Titans. It's a tough one. Maybe you could hope that Studio Series 86 didn't sell well, and maybe they'll end up at Ollie's at some point. You could hope. Princess Comics 59. When is Hasbro doing the next wave announcement? Again, next week is Transformer Tuesday. Tune in on Tuesday. We will get some announcements. James Hopkins, my Ratchet 2-pack was canceled by Amazon. Well, I've had that done many times to me with Amazon. I would pre-order through them. This is Amazon Canada. I would pre-order through them. I would not pre-order through anyone else, just specifically through them. And then they would cancel my order and I would be frustrated. It happens. Still waiting on Earthrise Ratchet Ramjet reissue. That'll happen at some point. Seekers always happen. Cringe McCringle, Commanders don't even get carried in stores anymore in I guess NE Ohio. I don't know what NE is. Same with NW Ohio. I don't know what, I guess Northwest or Northeast. Again, it's hit or miss. That has to do with the toy manager for that section of that Target or Walmart. If they even want to order it, if they have the shelving space or the SKU. you know? But yeah, we are at the 2-hour mark. We are done right now. We had a good night tonight with the super chats and all the questions. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming in. It was a good night tonight. We had some good discussions, good talk about the robots in disguise. This week coming up again, we have the Transformer Tuesday that's happening from Hasbro. So be sure to check that out, and we'll cover it here on the Transformers Slag podcast. Again, thanks for all the love and support and everything you guys do. Again, if you want to help support the podcast, Patreon down there is probably the best way to support the podcast. Failing if you don't like doing Patreon, we have the YouTube membership. That's another way to join. You hit that join button for Patreon. It's in the link description down below, if not the pinned comment. Aside from that, again, if you want to support the podcast more, check out Symbiote Studios and all their cool stuff. And of course, Aaron Archer with all his brand new art. Put up a bunch of brand new stuff on his store today, so go to check that out too. A lot of new art. At least 6 or 7 new pieces to my knowledge. And again, thank you to Hasbro. And we'll see you on Tuesday. So thank you again, guys. I'm out of here. We had a great 2 hours together, and I'm going to go upstairs and just chill and relax for the rest of the evening. Enjoy your Saturday night too with your friends, family, and loved ones. I'm out of here, and roll out.